side on every food.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening is Adam.
Hello.
Traveling exhibits, GabbyGeeWhiz.
Greetings, everybody.
Useless.
Hello, how goes it?
And of course, as it is a Friday, once again, I am the keeper for this evening, Sanguine. How are all of you doing tonight?
Alive and kicking.
Which
Always
is far
better
better
than
than
the
the
alternative.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Nice. And how about the other two? Let's go Gabby first.
I'm exhausted, but in all the right ways. Like, life has been moving forward for me, so
That's
very
good to
excited
hear.
about things in general.
Very nice. And Adam, how goes on your end?
I am happy that it is the weekend. Let's just say that. Because
one of those weeks.
well, I mean it was an eventful week, but as I have been striving to stay on the positive side of things, to try and outweigh the negative vibration type of thing. I'm trying to remain joyful throughout. So for the weekend, yeah, I'm gonna be fucking hanging out with my younger self and playing some Ninja Turtles and
Nice.
watch the movies and watch the cartoons and play the fucking game because Shredder's Revenge is pretty fucking rad.
I saw some
Yep.
screenshots of it. It looks pretty cool.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's always best to be positive, except when it comes to testing for diseases.
Well, yeah, you don't want that.
And I'm doing extremely well this evening. I had a fantastic dinner of rosé veal, and I went through the explanation of what rosé veal was before the stream, but if the two people that heard that will suffer through it once again. The rosé veal is a specific sort of veal where standard veal you have to cook to at least medium, and a good chunk of them you have to go medium well to well done in order for them to be safe for human consumption. Just like how with chicken you have to cook chicken thoroughly, with veal you have to cook veal thoroughly. Rosé veal gets rid of a lot of those issues, so medium rare veal is something that you can consume now. And good fucking god, like a pig in shit when I was able to go after that. So I dry brined some rosé veal and cooked it up medium rare. It was a nice rosé veal ribeye that I had with some pan-fried potatoes that I did in a bit of rendered Mengalitsa pork fat. I had some mushroom caps that I did the Japanese prep where they cut the cross into the top of the mushroom?
Mm-hmm.
I did that prep of the mushrooms, then roasted them up with a bit of sugar, a bit of salt after they cooked down a fair bit. Then I tossed in some of that same Mengalitsa pork fat, let that cook down even more, get that insanely umami, mushroomy taste. Fucking fantastic. Then some asparagus cooked off in a bit of butter and the Mengalitsa pork fat with a bit of garlic and salt, just finishing it off. Absolutely amazing. Serve that all up with a few fingers. I'm now on 4 fingers of one whiskey that I just finished off, so there's no more of that one. A pint of a lemon lime blonde ale, which was rather lovely.
Nice.
And now I'm setting upon my bottle of Johnny Walker Red and taking a few more fingers for that. So, absolutely fantastic dinner. Really chuffed with how it turned out.
That sounds very delicious.
Oh,
Hey, have you heard of a whiskey and ginger ale type of drink?
Jama and Ginger. Yeah.
Is Is it just those two, or do they add like a sweetener, like an old fashioned or something?
It tends to be Jameson, ginger, and a squeeze of lime.
Squeeze a lemon or lime?
Lime.
Lemon. Lime.
Lime. You
Is
can do
a
lemon if you want
very
Oh shit! We gotta get the fuck out of here, dude.
to.
I hear the war
Camel
drums
just
coming.
joined us.
Hey, Camel.
Good evening, Camel. How goes?
Dude always makes me feel like a narc now whenever I come on stream.
It's a
I
novel
saw-
experience, isn't it?
I saw you glowing a mile away, dude.
I make one comment in chat, and now he won't let me live it down.
There's
the
some
comment? I'm
scrawny
curious.
chicken jinkos waving you around, dancing in fucking techno.
I have no idea what any of that meant. But
I have
okay.
no idea.
You don't
either.
remember Jinko jeans?
Dude,
No.
I just threw a whole bunch of stuff on. I don't think
You went insanely 90s with that reference. I'm
Yeah.
disappointed that you went with Jinko jeans rather than track pants, though.
Well, hold on. Jinko jeans are the parachute pants, right?
Those are
Jinko-
Parachute
Really
jeans, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the baggy ones.
The really
Jinko
baggy-
jeans were the parachute jeans,
Uh,
but I'm disappointed that you went for those rather than trap pants. Which
What are, the Adidas?
no, trap pants were the ones
Oh.
that had all the fucking chains all around them. They were the
Oh.
black cargo pants with the chains fucking everywhere.
The ones that the juggalos would wear.
Yes.
Oh, juggalos.
Juggalos
Oh, yeah.
and ravers would wear track pants.
Oh, I can't wait till we get the historians that are going in and describing how these styles were done. And
God
this
fucking awful.
had 3 chains on the left side, signifying dominance in their subculture, with patches on the right knee, indicating that perhaps they were in a scuffle, so to say.
You can tell
Your impression
by,
of Sir Attenborough needs a little bit of work there.
Whoa,
you
dude!
can tell by
Whoa!
the number of tears at the heel and toe that this particular specimen wore massively oversized pants and ate shit multiple times.
What I always thought was funny about the juggalos wearing the trap pants here, anyway,
Mhm.
was like they had to go to a place called Atwood's to get their Fago.
Mhm.
And I think Atwood's is like predominantly just an Oklahoma company, but imagine like
I've
Tractor
never heard
Supply.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the only place in town where they could go to get Fago.
I'm
So-
so lost right now.
Oh, Fago is, I think it's a fruit drink.
Fago is
It's
the
a soda.
It's a soda,
Juggalo soda.
but it's not like a like a cola or Pepsi.
They
It's
have
like
a bunch of different Fagos.
It's a brand. So
just a brand,
it
yeah.
has
They've got like
Oh,
shit
for
ton of
real?
different Fagos.
I
Yeah,
thought
it
it
was
is.
grape soda and orange soda. They've got like they've got Dr. Fago, which is their Dr. Pepper ripoff.
So you know how
Dr.
Oh.
Flavor.
what's the RC Cola? You know how RC Cola is a knockoff of Coke and Pepsi?
Well, hold on. I think it started as a competition, and it just didn't do so.
Did RC Cola come out at the same time? I thought they were just a straight knockoff.
No,
Probably are.
a lot of them started around the same time. They just
Dr. Pepper's the oldest, though.
yeah.
Let's see. When did RC Cola come out? Because
Uh-oh.
RC Cola just seems like it was designed to be a knockoff.
Oh, if you want to see some good YouTube videos on companies, I think it's called Company Man. His channel. I don't know why I keep throwing these things out, but he does some good stuff. I saw his thing on White Castle. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. And then they had the White Castle 1921.
Are you talking about the burgers? I've never had them.
Yeah,
Oh, White Castle burgers are
White Castle.
I've heard they're garbage.
rather fucking good. Adam probably hates them because they're
Onions.
steamed over onions.
Dude, I love onions.
I only
Okay.
had the frozen kind of White Castle.
And I double checked it. RC Cola, 100% a ripoff of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola came out in 1886.
Pepsi came out in 1893 and RC came out in 1905.
Yep, 1905. It was 30 some years after the fucking production of the other two. Or 20 some years, almost 30 some years after the production. So RC Cola, definitively a ripoff. It is fun. So RC Cola is a ripoff of Coke and Pepsi, while Faygo is a ripoff of the ripoff.
Wait, Faygo is a ripoff of RC Cola?
Faygo is
Or like
effectively a
Inception
ripoff
levels.
of RC Cola and the RC Cola family, which, for those who don't know, RC stands for Royal Crown.
Isn't that an alcohol?
Oh
No, that's
no!
Crown Royal.
There's Crown Royal, which is the other.
Hold on. Where's my tinfoil
Put
hat?
everything off.
Something is strange here. Is this a Canadian company?
No, RC Cola is an American company. Royal Crown is a Canadian whiskey.
Oh, jeez. I'm starting to
What, you mean
see a
Crown Royal?
connection.
Crown Royal is a Canadian whiskey. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. Crown Royal is a Canadian whiskey. Royal Crown is an American brand.
I never
Indeed.
knew anything about
Yes, so
Crown Royal
happened
other
to
than the
be
fact they
run
put in those
by-
little felt bags.
And because it's a Canadian whiskey, it's sweet.
And Jim Beam says, "Don't you badmouth Fago, rat bastard."
I never
Hold
had
on.
Faygo, so
Is RC Cola sweet? It's been a while since I've had an RC Cola.
Well,
Ah.
all colas are somewhat sweet. It's just a matter of how sweet, which is why you guys know those old school commercials for Pepsi where it was like 9 out of 10 people prefer Pepsi in the sip test.
The Pepsi
Well-
challenge.
Well, hold on. You can. I don't know about anybody else, but I can definitely tell the difference between a Coke and a Pepsi. Pepsi definitely tastes sweeter.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely tell. And the reason why people pick it in a sip test, but then select against it for their drink of choice is Pepsi's sweeter. So in a single sip, yeah, most people go for the sweeter option. But when you drink that for a session, it becomes too sweet. Just like how you have session beers versus a standard beer. Do you guys know the difference between a session beer and a standard beer?
Your level of alcoholism.
What is standard beer?
So a standard beer would be just any beer, not a session beer. So since I'm looking at the ground, I currently have in front of me a Boulevard Berry Noir would be a standard beer. A Smithwick's Red Ale would be a standard beer, and a Killian's Red would be a standard beer. And then you have session beers. So the two reds that I mentioned, the Smithwick's and the Killian's, they'll have more malty notes rather than hoppy notes. They'll still have a fair bit of hop to them, but not as hoppy as like an IPA. So with a standard beer of any category, it will be a little bit maltier or a little bit more hoppy. So hoppy offers those bitter notes. Malty offers those delicious, sweet, chocolatey notes. But it's not a really sweet. It's kind of a muted sweet, just amazing mouthfeel beer is offered by the maltiness of the beer. So a really malty beer would be, of course, like a Guinness. Guinness Stout, insanely malty, absolutely fucking amazing. But you know how most people, they'll drink like one Guinness and they're done?
yeah.
Yes? No? Maybe?
Never had Guinness. So
Wait.
You've never had Guinness? What the fuck is wrong with your life?
But
Whoa,
the thing is,
Hold
We're
on.
tasting
Both
this Coke taste.
things. Hold on. First off, you said one Guinness and you're done, and then the other guy said, "I've never had a Guinness."
Yeah.
What the hell's what's going on?
You're agreeing with my what the fuck is wrong with your life, right? If you've never had a Guinness, how the fuck have you never had a Guinness?
I think
You
we've
gotta
all
at
known
least
for a
try
while
once.
there's something the fuck wrong with his life.
I quit drinking when I was poorer than I am now. So
Okay, fair enough. If you're a complete teetotaler, you're absolved from the what the fuck is wrong with your
Yeah,
life.
you get
I
the,
smoke my
gas.
drugs, sir.
Yeah,
So do I.
if you're still drinking and you don't know what the fucking Guinness is,
No, you
what
gotta at
the
least
fuck
try
is
it.
wrong with your life?
Yeah, it's
Are
one of
you
those.
just drinking Natty Light like you're a goddamn?
Oh god, no! I had standards above that.
No.
The
Hold on,
only time
hold
I
on.
ever
I
saw a
would-
Natty Light commercial was on vacation in Florida. I was like, wait, you guys actually put that shit on TV?
No, I would
No
I would
shame.
equate it. I
No
would
shame.
equate it to like trying like Jägermeister or Goldschlager at least once. At least once. Like
Yeah,
you go to
you
like a
have to.
party and like, oh hey, here's Goldschlager. Ugh. You never again. Or even like a Fireball.
If
The
you've
whiskey
never-
Fireball, you know?
If you've never had a Jaeger bomb, have you even drank?
Apparently not. But I'm not alone. There's a couple of people in chat that have never had Guinness either. So
What the
Yeah.
fuck is wrong with your
spread
life?
some of that vitriol around there, Sanguine.
Give Guinness a go. Guinness
Yeah.
is this amazing multi-nitrogenous beer. And I say
It's kinda-
nitrogenous because
And it's
okay,
kind of creamy. It's kind of creamy too.
It's
and that's
the thicker beer.
Yeah.
it's a thicker beer, and the creaminess is offered by, like I said, it's a nitrogenous beer. Most
Yeah.
beers are carbon dioxide is what causes the head and
It's
what
it's
causes
good.
the bubbles.
It's not something that you'd want to, I would say, drink on a sunny day.
Shut your whore mouth! I will drink it any day of the week.
Dude, I can drink a whole 6-pack in one sitting. You know.
Oh Lord.
Johnny said Guinness is a meal in a can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many people describe it as liquid bread.
Yeah.
So they
Oh, then
tastes-
it's probably a good thing I didn't find Guinness when I was still drinking. I'd be fatter than I am now.
the richness and just amazing kind of chocolatey coffee notes of Guinness and that
Yeah.
just thick, creamy mouthfeel is partially the nitrogen space, as I was saying, but it is also partly that it is a heavily malted beer, so
Yeah.
it's that kind of sweet, chocolatey note. The more malt you get, the more of that chocolatey, toffee note to a beer. The
Yeah.
more hops you get, the more bitter the beer gets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You get like a double hops beer, and it's kind of a little too bitter for me. You know.
oh yeah, triple hops beers are just like sucking on fucking alum or some shit like
Yeah.
that.
Dude, okay, that just reminds me of. I swear there was an old beer commercial where they had these like puppet faces on, and it was like, oh, bitter beer gazette, and it's like bitter beer face or something like that. I can't remember what the fuck beer
It was a Guinness.
Was it Guinness?
It was one of the Guinness commercials.
Get out of here! Was it?
Wait, bitter,
If you
the
can
bitter
find
beer
it,
face?
holy shit! Yeah,
The
because
bitter beer face commercials I remember was Keystone Light.
Ugh.
See, I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was. I just remember the puppet face and like, beer to the bees gonna say this is like, oh shit, dude, nobody wants that.
Guinness had the best fucking commercials. Also, the fact that Guinness for the longest period of time was marketed as a health tonic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, drink your beer.
Yes.
Well,
I was just
My
about
problem
to
is-
mention that there was that bullshit article, like speaking of like piss flavored like beers and Keystone Light.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keystone Light is absolute piss water.
You might as well have
Most-
a natty ice.
Most
Most
pilsners are though.
American blondes are
same
absolute
thing.
piss water. And
Budweiser. You know.
yeah, Budweiser is absolute piss water. Michelob,
Whoa.
absolute piss
What'd
water.
you just crack open? Was that a natty ice? Or
No, I don't drink
Keystone?
anymore.
I was
Oh,
about
but-
to say the absolute worst are the natty ices and natty lights. They are the piss water that you get from drinking piss water. They-
Hold on. You know what's better than both of those? Fucking Milwaukee's best.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Paps.
Did you call it Milwaukee?
Yeah, what do you call it?
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Milwaukee.
Hey, you know what? I'm allowed to call it that because
Because the quartering slapped a beer out of your hand in the city.
no,
If that actually happened, I will shit
it's
my
because I'm
Oh,
a
it
Chicagoan.
did fucking happen.
We have rivalry. You know?
I was there when it happened, Gabby. It was
fucking way.
MythCon. Adam and I were talking, just chatting shit in the middle of MythCon. And the quartering, just walking by, accidentally slaps that shit out of his hand. And then immediately goes, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." Buys him a new beer. And
Well, I mean, that's fair. The accidents happen. I was thinking it was on purpose. Like, he just didn't like.
Damn you, Adam! Bam.
Oh no, it was a
I-
complete accident, and he starts apologizing profusely.
Well, yeah,
I think that, now that I think about it, there might have been because the quartering is because Jeremy is like 6 foot something, or he's tall. He's
Jeremy's a great big bear of a man, and this is being said by a giant dwarf.
And hey, I'll be honest. I'm 5'4". I'm not a giant, but
you're the little spoon.
Oh shit!
You're the little spoon.
Yeah, I'm the big spoon.
Yeah, damn it. So
Eagle Balls doesn't sound so bad now, does it?
Now you know why I go there all the time. But I can see why he just walks up and he doesn't see below the clouds, so to speak.
Yeah, Jeremy is a tall fucking dude.
Hello down there.
I'm 6'1", and he's probably at least like 6'3", 6'4". So he's a decent bit taller than me, because once you go above 6 foot, even an inch or two becomes a decent bit taller.
Yeah.
And
I was surprised that Sargon was fucking tall.
Sargon's kind of middling height. He isn't tall, he isn't short.
He's like average.
He's like 5'10", 5'11", something like that.
That's a little above average if you're going by like the
5'8",
American
5'9".
male.
Yeah, above average.
Like I think last I checked, the average height for the American male was 5'9".
Yeah, 5'9" is average height.
And like, was it
For
the
American
Dutch or the tallest average, like averaging at 6 feet?
6'1" or something like that. Yeah.
I thought it was like 6 even.
Is it 6 even?
I thought
remember
so.
they were 6 or just north of 6. Yeah, they're the tallest, followed by like a couple of Africans that are right up in that 6 range as well.
But I mean, like, like we're the tallest in like this hemisphere, so that's all I'm really worried about.
And our height ranges drastically, because when you look at Scandinavian,
we have Shaquille O'Neal and Muggsy Bogues, so
yeah, when you look at Scandinavian origin Americans, they're north of 6. When you look at certain parts of Africa, Americans, they're north of 6 foot. And then when you look at like, what are the 3 shortest? I want to say it's Chinese, Mexican, and is it Ecuadorian?
I don't remember the shortest. I know, like, I think like Colombian dudes are like 5'6" average. I remember that one because like that's the same height as like the average American woman.
Yeah.
So
average American woman's 5.5 or something like that.
So have you heard about the flooding in Yellowstone? Isn't that crazy?
You really want to get off the whole height thing, don't you?
Height topic.
Your insecurities are showing.
It's not an insecurity. It's it's an insecurity in the preparation of a flooding in Yellowstone.
No one here lives in Yellowstone. We don't give a shit.
I'm a giant dwarf, not a bear.
Just means that Johnny won't have any bison attack stories for a little while. That's all.
Goddamn, I'm
segue.
just scrolling back through the chat to catch up on what I missed.
Oh,
And
shit. I need to
I'm
smoke.
seeing the Kokanoe saying that he's one of the fruity drink crew, which if you're one of the fruity drink crew and you want a really good dark that actually you will probably love, there's a Duchess de Borgia, which is a chocolate berry stout.
I
Sour.
don't like fruity beers. They just make me sick. Like I either need to have like a mixed drink with like hard alcohol and fruit, or just like my hoppy like IPA. Like I can't do fruity beer.
See, I prefer multi beers. I can do some hoppy beers, but I find far too many of the craft beers in the US just massively overdo the hops, so it is just bitter the second that it hits your tongue, like you're fucking consuming alum or some other base compound.
Yo, yeah, I try to stay away from the fruity in terms, I guess, in more so the sugar in it. I don't like, but I do want to try more like tonics and gins and stuff. I want to see some of that. I like an old fashioned. You know, that was pretty good.
Old fashions are amazing.
Yeah.
Coco brought up Midori in chat. Oh my god, I used to love Midoris.
What's a Midori?
It's like an apple like fruity kind of like hard liquor. God, it's been so many years.
I think it's technically a liqueur. Let me quickly go.
Liquor, yeah. It's been a while, but I remember Midori.
When I used to drink, it was whatever lager was on tap, or Long Island iced teas.
Oh,
those are pretty good Long Island iced teas.
Well, I was drinking on a budget, and so you get 7 different types of alcohol in one go.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
Yep.
Like 3 or 4, and they just like slather it all together.
It's good. It's good.
It's
3 or 4 of those, and I was feeling no pain. So. Yeah, I forgot what all it has in there. It's like it's got like tequila, gin, vodka, a few other things.
I think for me, tequila or a good whiskey, not bourbon. Bourbon's good, but I'd rather mix it. But a good whiskey straight would be nice.
Yeah, whiskey is always good. And yeah, it's a Japanese melon liqueur. And I say liqueur because it is a mere 20 to 21% alcohol by volume.
Ooh.
Whereas a proper liquor is in that 40 plus range. Speaking of proper liquor, time for a couple more fingers of red.
Yeah, see, and hold on. Just think, when Sanguine and I were hanging out, and it's like, hey, Sanguine, pour me a drink. He was measuring with his fingers.
Yeah. Which is why you have to admit, I gave you fucking warning.
Usually my 3 fingers is a little bit less.
Your 3 fingers are effectively almost 2 of mine, maybe a little bit more. My hands are just enormous. Like I've said on stream before, a standard wedding band size is about an 11 or 12 for men. And 12 is kind of pushing it because the highest most jewelers go to is a 13. And a good chunk of them go to 12.5. My fucking pinkies are 11s. My middle finger is a goddamn 16.
You really are a giant dwarf.
Isn't this like 3 weeks in a row we've talked about your ring sizes?
Humble brag.
comes up-
Not so humble anymore.
Wait, he's talking about rings. Uh-oh.
I think it was Skep Tock said shaking my hand is a weird experience because you're shaking a hand, but it doesn't quite make sense in scale. I just have thick, fucking meaty hands. Not overly long. In fact, when you're looking at my hands, they look kind of short, but it's just because of how goddamn meaty they are. Because once you go to a certain width, it doesn't matter how long, they become just short looking.
So, completely off topic, but have you guys been keeping track of this whole Ezra Miller nonsense?
Oh, yeah, we talked about it yesterday.
Arrested all the time. Well, not a loser. Wasn't he some actor on Disney or something?
Ezra Miller. Or Camel, do you want to go through it? Or
he's the one that plays the Flash in the DCEU, Gabby.
Oh, that's why I don't give a shit about comic books. Okay.
Well,
I'm a weeaboo. Who keeps knocking over their beverages?
That is not me, because I have not knocked over a single thing as I've been drinking.
Well, apparently this popped up tonight, discussing film on Twitter, said Ezra Miller will not be a part of any future DC projects after The Flash, regardless if there are more allegations or not. That's a quote.
Well, he's on the fucking lam. I would be surprised.
There has currently been no decision made on how to deal with their involvement in The Flash. Gabby, Ezra Miller is a non-binary with the they/them pronouns.
A trans
and
out of job by their stupid fucking mistakes.
Apparently, Ezra has had some run-ins with some native girls, and I say girls because like one of them's 12.
No,
I think
I don't like the way this is starting out.
You might be mixing things up because he has had several run-ins with them, but there's one in particular who he started grooming when she was 12.
Yeah, there's like one that's like 18 now.
Yep, 18 now.
But no, I thought the other allegation or the restraining order was, I think, against the, because they're both, like I said, there's one is
one of
Iron Eyes.
Orders, yes, one of them is against Iron Eyes, which I find fucking hilarious because.
And the other one is Jumping Eagle is the last name.
Okay, I haven't heard about the Jumping Eagle. I heard about the Iron Eyes one, and the Iron Eyes one I found fucking. The fact that her name is Iron Eyes was hilarious to me because Iron Eyes is famously
Iron Eyes Cody.
Native. Yes, Iron Eyes Cody, the Italian native.
Wait,
they put a guinea in a headdress.
Yes,
and had him crying over garbage by the freeway.
So which one was the one that he had in contact since she was a little?
That would be Iron Eyes.
Iron Eyes.
So
okay,
Iron Eyes.
She's now 18 and she's just not responding to the parents.
Like she was with him for like some of his escapades in Hawaii.
Yeah, I think they caught pictures of them too.
The entire thing about Ezra and Iron Eyes is, and that was just me, I dropped a broken off bolt. So with him and Iron Eyes, he started grooming the girl when she was about 12 or 14. I can't remember which one. I remember it was some low, even pre-teen to teen. And it started at a political protest where he first met her. Then when she was 14 or 16, he invited her to one of the showings of Fantastic Beasts. And while dealing with all of the hullabaloo around that, he plied her with drugs and alcohol and tried to sleep in the same bed as this 14 or 16-year-old at the time.
And when we say drugs and alcohol, like we're talking like LSD.
Yeah,
No.
LSD, coke, hard alcohol, and several other drugs as well.
Hold on, you mean he didn't give her Pepto-Bismol or like Advil?
Nope, he wasn't going for the, oh, you have a bit of a headache, let me give you some Excedrin. No, it wasn't Excedrin.
Not even like a Tums? Or
Not
a
even a
fucking
Tums.
Flintstones vitamin?
Nope.
That would be more appropriate age-wise for this person, but no.
It was skipping straight to smack.
Straight
But
to
Your
heroin.
Honor, she had cluster headache.
Wow.
Yeah, it was skipping straight ahead to smack, LSD, and a handful of others.
Well, obviously, I mean, he's
I
a
would've
doctor,
set them
so
on
I mean, he
fire.
knows best, right? He
He
knew
is
that
sadly-
she had a headache, and instead of just giving her some Tylenol, he was like, "Nah, here's some cocaine." That's
He was sadly not an 1800s doctor.
oh,
So he was not giving her coke in order to purge the demons from her bloodstream or anything along those lines. He was just giving her coke for the sake of giving her coke. So that continued on, and at this point the family started to find out and started the procedure to give like a restraining order and shit like that. It took a while for that shit to go through. By the time that it took a while for that shit to go through, she had run off at the age of 17 to live with Ezra Miller. And her parents were able to track her down. When they found her, she was just on the cusp of 18. She did not have her driver's license, her ID, or any identifying documentation, or a credit card, a bank card, or anything like that that could be tracked or would be needed for, existing in the modern society. But it was perfectly fine because she and Ezra were currently dealing with KKK cyber tracking and death squads, as reported by Iron Eye.
hold on, wait. So the KKK are like using like VR to have clan meetings and shit.
The KKK, whose average age is north of the average age of death, yes, was apparently somehow using high-tech methods in order to track and hunt down Iron Eye's, and I think it was Tanaka was the name that she changed to, because she had another name and then she changed to Tanaka due to Ezra's influence and his transgender non-binary. But they were running from the KKK cyber surveillance squad as well as death squads.
Drugs are a hell of a drug.
At this point was also when Ezra Miller got pulled over for, I want to say it was a DUI, and he tried to convince the police that they were committing a federal hate crime when they started to book him, especially when a male officer started to pat him down, because since he was a transgender non-binary, that meant that they needed to find a transgender non-binary police officer in order to pat him down without it being a violation.
Okay.
How does he know how that cop identified?
Yeah, that's big enough of him to assume.
Yeah, and then he also accused the cop of touching his penis while he was on the body cam of another cop, and the cop's hands were nowhere near a penis would be located.
Unless he was growing one on his arm. I don't think Ezra was, though.
Yeah, he was not the man with the penis on his arm. So, the man's hand... Yes, there is a man who's growing a penis on his elbow. The other people are growing penises on rats and various other rodents. But he was like checking the man's pocket, and his hand was clearly still on his hip, nowhere near where penis would be. So unless he has a hip dick, he was not touching Ezra's penis, but he tried to accuse the cop of touching his penis, continued to say that he's transgender non-binary, continued to say that the KKK had sent a hit squad after him after getting their cyber surveillance. Again, the KKK, whose average age exceeds the average age of death in the United States, had somehow managed to send a cyber surveillance crew after him, as well as a hit squad, because we all know the geriatric, the octogenarians and on, are well known for their tech savvy. And it was just a, what the fuck is going on here? But yes, he's abducted the girl since she turned 18 and has been on the lam. They've tried to find him at each of the houses that he had under his name, and they have failed to do so thus far.
He was even taunting the cops for not being able to find him on Instagram.
Yeah.
For real?
Well, that's what I've heard. I don't have an Instagram. Apparently he deleted those posts.
Yeah.
At some point, he was like, "Hey, taunting the cops probably not a good idea."
Yeah, and a lot of people are still trying to defend him, saying he isn't a pedophile. She's 18, ignoring the fact that he started the grooming at like 12 or 14. And a number of others are ignoring the fact that, or trying to
they're ignoring the fact that he's batshit insane.
Ignoring the fact that he's batshit insane, and they're trying to say this has
more
nothing
so
to
than
do
the usual movie actor standards, because all of them are freaking bananas.
Well, like Wandering Lisa said, Miller is like a cult leader. Jared Leto is a cult leader, and all of his devotees are like middle-aged white women. So,
he has a standard cult.
Ezra is a different animal entirely.
A whole different predator.
And like I said, with Ezra, he thinks that he's running from KKK, surveillance, and death squads. Or at least he professes to believe that he's running from KKK, surveillance, and death squads.
I have to admit, I don't know if Ezra Miller's even a good actor. I've not seen any of his work.
Nor have I. He's also directly threatened people.
He like chokeslammed a chick in Iceland, if I'm not mistaken.
There was that, and then
he was constantly getting arrested for shenanigans. I had no idea who the guy was. I do not follow comic book stuff at all.
Well,
I remember everyone talking about this crazy dude.
Apparently, he was in the Fantastic Beasts movies too, Gabby.
But they had to get rid of Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Ezra Miller's okay, but
Ezra Miller and Amber Heard, they're it's taken this long, but yeah, Johnny Depp was fired on accusations.
And on social media, he, when talking to, I think it was gun owners in general, he equated all gun owners to the KKK, said that they better off themselves because if they don't off themselves, well, the trans activists will do it for them.
With what? I mean, the gun owners have guns. What do the trans activists have?
Yes, but he was implying that the trans activists would murder the gun owners, or it might have just been the KKK, but I think it was the gun owners in general for that particular one. As well as he...
I just love that. It's like, gun owners, give up your guns or else. And gun owners just like, or else what?
Yeah. It is absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, a lot of people are trying to say, well, she's 18, so he's not a pedophile. He started grooming when she was like 12 or 14. So that shit don't fly. He started trying to sleep
that's where I'd ask him, it's like, 14. So what is that's when I'd ask him, like, when they say, well, she's 18. It's like, so what's your opinion on Woody Allen?
Yep. And then the other thing that drives me crazy is people are trying to defend him, saying, well, this isn't him using his political and identity as a defense.
Oh, they lost the same.
Uh-oh.
Maybe that KKK Cyber Squad. Oh, no, there he is.
Sorry, quick hiccup there. I ended up bumping my mouse and hitting the back button because my mouse has a back and forward button on the side.
It wasn't the Grand Wizard doing a DDoS attack on you there, Sanguine?
How did that happen? Was it because you are speaking a lot of language that they don't want you to do, or did you hit a button?
Like I said, I hit a button on the side of my mouse. It has a back and forward button that activates the web page back and forward features. And I just kind of slapped the side of my mouse as I grabbed it again, causing me to go backward. But
I just imagine like a 90-year-old Homer Yost in his robes, just typing away like Bruce Almighty.
But yeah, it was... Not only are people defending him for he's not a pedophile thing, which I already explained before I ended up zipping off, but just to catch up where I was again, people are also saying, well, he isn't using his identity and his political ideology as a defense, except the time that he was arrested, again, he was using he's a transgender non-binary as a reason why the cops couldn't arrest him, couldn't search him, couldn't do fucking anything to him, and also accuse them of committing a federal hate crime when one of the police officers who was not involved in the original pat-down, but was the person actually shuttling him to the prison, or to the jail, rather. Possibly just to the station house, but to the station house or the jail. Said, sir, I'm sorry this is all happening. This is what's going on. And he started bitching out at them for saying, sir.
Wow.
Because he's a transgender non-binary. They should be using the term mix.
Yeah. I mean, there's non-binary stuff, though, too.
Non-binary stuff is absolute horseshit. Also, you should be using mix. Well, mix... Even if I subject myself to the lunacy of your ideology for a second, mix would be a substitution for Mr. or Mrs., not sir or lady. So...
It's sir and ma'am. Not lady.
Yeah, sir or ma'am would be another option. But
although lady and gentleman, you know.
Mix would not be a substitution for that second.
Yeah.
So what is your non-binary substitution for sir, madam, ma'am, or lady?
Crazy.
Yeah, that would be my substitution. Absolute batshit insane psychopath in the back seat. This was not anything against you.
I just thought it was funny that, you know, of all the identities that Ezra claims, they can't claim vegan because he obviously likes the red meat.
I think he's more partial to salmon.
I was just talking about his taste in women.
True. As was I.
Yeah, I got the joke. So. Boo-da-boo.
So anything else fun happened today, kids?
Yeah, I got an argument about climate change, but that's I don't know about that though.
Which bit about climate change? Was it the scientific consensus that is not a begrudging scientific consensus, therefore it is absolutely fucking meaningless, or was it some other aspect?
Well, somebody sent me a summary of the consensus, and they said out of 3,000 papers, we found consensus. We only found 4. They only looked for 4 that didn't consent with them. That was it.
Yep.
And it showed me no data. It was just not even sources to go look at. I'm like, okay.
So I've talked about this before, but I think it bears stressing yet again because there's a difference between a scientific consensus and a begrudging scientific consensus. So just to give a chance for someone else to cut me off on this rant, does anyone else know the difference between a begrudging consensus and just a consensus?
I figure they do it because they might get shunned, you know.
So
Can't say that I do.
don't know the
No.
difference.
a begrudging consensus is what you get when you look at pretty much any other aspect of science up to modern day. When you look at, for instance, evolutionary biology.
Yeah.
There is a begrudging consensus for evolutionary biology. Now, most people might be thinking, what do you mean there's a begrudging consensus? The biologists all agree that evolution is most likely the origin of the variation between species. Not the origin of species, but the origin of variation between the species.
You've got to be shitting me.
So, when you're talking about a begrudging consensus, when it first started out, Darwin had his theory, and he proffered it. And Lamarck had his theory, and he proffered it. And several other people had their theories, and they proffered it. So, what happened was every other biologist at the time started viciously trying to tear apart the idea. So they started trying to tear apart the Lamarckian view of evolution and figure out where it was wrong. They were able to figure out where it was wrong because, apparently just because you work out doesn't mean that your son will be really strong.
Yeah.
So that shit don't happen. Lamarckian, for those who don't know, the Lamarckian view of evolution, the best example of it is the giraffe example. So Lamarck believed, with Lamarckian evolution, it would be believed that the reason why the giraffe's neck was as long as it is because each generation of giraffe really stretched its neck to as far as it could go to nibble some leaves. And that stretching within a generation's lifetime was passed on to the subsequent generation. Which would mean that someone that really studied hard would produce more intelligent progeny. Someone that really worked out at the gym would produce more intelligent or more durable, stronger progeny, shit like that. Whereas Darwinian evolution was, no, your genes are kind of set, but the most successful genes are the ones that end up being passed on. So the person who is naturally smarter is more likely to pass on their genes than someone who is not as naturally intelligent. And I see that Camel is sharing something.
Uh-oh.
A cone.
Oh my god.
An
What
Afro
is that?
with Black Power Fist.
Oh.
So
Hey,
the Juneteenth throw pick.
This is in Lafayette Square in New Orleans.
Is that for Spaceballs?
Nice.
Oh, good God. Fuck me. Yeah. Spaceballs is the only example where that would be
We ain't
viable.
found shit.
Yep.
But yeah, this is what I saw when you were talking about consensus and whatnot. I was like, you gotta be shitting me.
Yep.
Really?
So the difference between a begrudging consensus and just a consensus is a begrudging consensus is everyone desperately wants what they're agreeing to be wrong. They want to be able to demonstrate that it's wrong, which is what happened with the Darwinian theory of evolution, which has been adapted several times since it was first proffered. But people started to attack the idea, try to figure out where it was wrong. They went for the predictions of the idea, and they went, shit, the predictions actually bear out. And they started to attack other aspects, and shit, those actually started to bear out. Fuck. And eventually it reached a point where so many people had tried so many different methods to demonstrate how it was categorically wrong and failed to demonstrate how it was categorically wrong that the scientific community went, okay, until such time as we're able to prove that it's wrong, we'll say that it's true enough, that it's right enough that we'll use it.
And they never returned back to it?
Well, my
Well,
thing
no,
is,
people have continued to try to disprove it. They've just continued to fail to disprove it. So another example of this idea is, do you know the difference between Newtonian physics and relativistic physics or Einstein physics?
no.
The way you wear your hair.
Whoa.
So one of the things is the perception of gravity. So in Newtonian physics, gravity is purely a vector force, whereas and it's a unidirectional vector force, or not quite unidirectional. It's a bidirectional vector force, so it's opposing. A body will attract a larger body at the same rate that a larger body will attract the body. So the first mass will attract a second mass at the same rate the second mass will attract the first mass. Does that make any semblance of sense, the way that I just phrased it?
I'm still stuck on the Afro pick in the middle of New Orleans.
I slightly gathered that you might.
Oh.
Well, my thing about the climate change, it is happening. I just don't think it's human-made, you know? I still think it's mostly natural.
So that's more. So I'll quickly cover that. There's the idea of a law of science versus a theory of science, which people fuck up all the time. So people say that there's a law of gravity, where it's only the theory of evolution. Do you guys know what the law of gravity is in its most simplistic form?
Things fall down? No.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah. Well,
The most simplistic form of the law of gravity is masses attract.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of a law of evolution?
No.
no.
Would you be surprised that there is actually a law of evolution?
Not really.
Who wrote it?
Well, it's just so a law versus a theory. A law is the simplest statement of a truism, effectively, when it comes to science. So masses attract. It doesn't explain how masses attract. It doesn't explain the rate at which masses attract. It explains fucking nothing other than, yeah, mass 1 will move towards mass 2 and mass 2 will move towards mass 1. So the law of evolution is life changes over time.
Yeah.
Is that at all useful to anyone?
Not really.
So, do you know what the theory of evolution versus the law of evolution, the law of gravity versus the theory of gravity are?
Nope.
Anyone have any guesses before I jump into this explanation?
Go ahead.
So, a law is the simplest explanation of, or not really explanation, the simplest statement of a phenomenon. So, the law of gravity is masses attract. The theory of gravity that we're currently operating under is the Einsteinian theory, or the relativistic theory of gravity. So, we had a previous theory of gravity, and a previous theory of a good chunk of physics, which was the Newtonian theory of gravity. The Einsteinian replaced the Newtonian because the Einsteinian explained everything that the Newtonian explained, and then some more, which is the important part. The theory is the best explanation of why something happens that is currently existing.
Wait.
So, the Einstein theory of gravity is the theory of gravity because it is the best theory. We have found some loopholes that it kind of breaks down at, and we're trying to figure out what theory of gravity would explain those loopholes better. But the Einstein theory of gravity is the best theory that we currently have that is a falsifiable theory. Everyone know what falsifiable means?
Yes. No.
Does mean you prove it wrong?
It is exactly what Useless just said. A falsifiable theory states how you can prove it wrong. So, the Einstein theory of gravity has several different methods that you can prove it wrong. One of the earliest things that it said, if this is wrong, it is just entirely fucking wrong, you can ignore it, was gravitational lensing. Have any of you heard of gravitational lensing, or do any of you know what gravitational lensing is?
I heard about it in sci-fi shows, but I don't know what it is. So
Do they orbit?
So, does anyone know what gravitational lensing is? I've got a no from Useless, and I got a no from Adam. Effectively.
Is that where light's bending?
Yes, exactly. So, a mass of a sufficient size will be able to bend light by an appreciable measure. And we were able to actually determine that this is a thing. So the first thing that in the Einstein theory of gravity, in the relativistic theory of gravity, said if this is wrong, then this entire theory is wrong, was able to be proven correct. So that meant that people had to move to the next thing. And there were 3 major predictions and then a score of minor predictions for the relativistic theory of gravity. Each of the major predictions was proven correct. The minor predictions have proven a bit interesting. So one of the things when it comes to the Einstein theory of gravity, to the relativistic theory of gravity, is that it breaks down at the t equals 0. Does anyone have any knowledge of what t equals 0 means?
T-minus countdown.
It's slightly related to that. You're fairly close. So t equals time. So time equals 0 would mean the very genesis of the universe. The Einstein theory of gravity, the relativistic theory of gravity, can take control and can be proven to be effectively accurate from t equals 0.000000 to a ridiculous number of zeros, 1. So not quite 0, but very, very close, but not quite. So at that just fraction of a 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 second after the universe began, Einstein theory of gravity kind of takes hold, and it is provably true. It breaks down ridiculously at t equals 0, the very instant that the universe would have formed, or right before the universe would have formed, to be entirely accurate. That's where it breaks down. And because of that, it is implied that the Einstein theory of gravity, the relativistic theory of gravity, is not entirely accurate. It explains everything that the Newtonian theory of gravity explains. And because it explains everything that the Newtonian gravity theory explains, are you guys familiar at all with the idea of something being right enough?
kind of, not really though.
Yeah.
I mean, I subscribe to that philosophy, and that's what got me fired from being a mechanic. So,
Oh no.
Fair enough. Gabby, are you familiar with the idea of right enough?
The idea
Wait,
of
how did
right
they get
enough?
you fired from working?
I wasn't a very good mechanic, Adam.
Oh man.
So the idea of right enough is something is inaccurate in another respect, but it is much easier to do and is correct in this respect. So a good example is Newtonian versus Einstein theory of gravity. Newtonian gravity is much easier to calculate than Einsteinian gravity. Because while Einsteinian gravity, when you simplify it down, it effectively equals Newtonian gravity, it has a lot more fucking steps, and it is just an absolute pain in the ass. There is no point, if you're dealing with a purely two-body problem, to go through the Einsteinian method when you can go through the Newtonian method. And it will be correct enough. It will be correct enough that you will be able to do whatever the fuck you're trying to do when you reduce it down to that point. But it won't be truly correct. That's the problem that we have with Newtonian gravity. That's the problem that we found out that we have with Einsteinian gravity, because it breaks down at t equals 0 and at a couple other points. But when it comes to evolution, we also have certain points where evolution explains the differences between species and how those differences arose. It doesn't explain the origin, the first life. It is not a theory of abiogenesis. It is a theory of after life has become a thing, here's how life changed. So, going back to what this tangent on various theories originated from. The difference between a begrudging consensus is when scientists have truly tried to their absolute damnedest degree. They have tried every which way that they can figure out in order to challenge and not disprove, but to prove a theory incorrect. That might sound a bit finicky with the verbiage there. So in science, it is pretty much agreed that you can't disprove something, but you can prove something not to be correct. In common parlance, this makes absolutely no sense, because to disprove something is to prove it not to be correct. Whereas in science, in science, those are two different things. You can't prove a negative, but you can prove a positive. So a negative would be saying that something is proven to be not so, whereas a positive is that something is proven to not be. It's a really fucking weird circumstance where it comes down to the statistics behind it. And there's a whole nother conversation about statistics that is almost mind-warping in how fucking weird it is. So I'm going to resist the urge to go into that explanation of statistics and the difference between current statistics and Bayesian statistics and how fucking weird that shit is. But
well, why not?
Do you want to hear like a 3-hour-long lecture on the difference between Bayesian statistics and current statistics?
No.
Hey, look at that weird link I just posted in the side chat.
If I do.
What's that over there?
Exactly.
Oh, that's one again. Oh.
Oh, you've ever seen that one?
Yeah.
Fucking exactly. So, to cover this before I jump over to what Camel just posted, the thing is that there's a difference between disproving something and demonstrating that something is unlikely to be the case, or effectively disproving that it is the case. Or not disproving, but proving that it is not the case. That would be a better phrase. So, a begrudging consensus is when people have failed to prove that something is incorrect. And it is only arrived at when people have failed to prove that something is incorrect. So you get that with evolution. You get that with the various theories of gravity. You get that with pretty much every valid scientific theory. A consensus lacks that component. So if all of the scientists in a field want something to be true, they can agree with it without having to go through the effort of refuting it. So a really good example of this is one of the foundational bits of text when it comes to gender and sex are completely different and unrelated, is a paper that I've referenced many fucking times on stream, but I will reference it once again, the Dr. Money paper. I know some of you are probably familiar with the Dr. Money paper. Or all of you familiar with the Dr. Money paper.
Yeah, we talked about it before.
Give a quick rundown. Gabby, are you familiar with the Dr. Money?
Haven't. Yeah, I'm not familiar. No.
So Dr. Money was the doctor that was effectively the foundational study of the idea that sex and gender were two different phenomena. He took a set of twins, one of which had had a botched circumcision, and following the botched circumcision, he had had a gender reassignment surgery because it had been such a terrible botched circumcision that it damn near castrated the boy. And they had tried to turn him into a girl. Dr. Money was the doctor that observed this case study. His research method resulted in a 100% suicide rate.
Yeah.
And he declared his experiment a success. He declared that his experiment had shown that sex and gender were two distinct phenomena, despite the 100% suicide rate. He is still widely cited in the field of gender science, such that it is, which I say that with every air quote or note of sarcasm that I can possibly muster.
Yeah, because the trans community keep using him as the reasons, you know.
Yeah, when you keep on citing the person that had a 100% suicide rate in his experiment, it doesn't really demonstrate what it says that it demonstrates. But because a lot of people wanted this to be the case, they didn't challenge the idea. They didn't try to attack the idea and show that it was wrong. They just went, yeah, that works. And that's the difference between a begrudging consensus and just a consensus. A consensus where it's just all the people in the field go, yeah, we'll agree to that. Doesn't mean a fucking thing.
Yeah.
The only consensus that has ever goddamn mattered in the entirety of the human species is a consensus where people have not wanted to believe it, but they have been forced to believe it by the sheer nature of their inability to prove that it is incorrect.
Yeah.
So a good example is 9.8 meters per second, the speed of gravity. There have been a lot of people that have tried to say, well, it's absurd that gravity would affect different masses in the same way. But every time that they've actually experimented with it, they failed to demonstrate a flaw in the 9.8 meters per second. There is actually an interesting flaw in that, which is only achievable through ridiculously high masses, because the reason why 9.8 meters per second it holds true is the first mass is negligible when compared to the mass of the Earth as a whole. Whereas if you had a mass that was approaching the mass of the Earth by any appreciable margin, then the acceleration between those two masses would actually exceed 9.8 meters per second. So if you had a marble the size, or if you had a marble that was the mass of Earth held at your height from the surface of the Earth, the gravity between those two objects and the rate of acceleration would far exceed 9.8 meters per second. That's just the mass of Earth massively expands, or massively exceeds the mass that we're considering when we do that calculation. So functionally, everything is 9.8 meters per second. And now shall we go to camels? Proper topic.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, Sanguine's sitting here, giving you guys, homework to, physics and whatnot. So let's let's
Talking about
take a break
actual
and
science and physics and dealing with that shit.
But let's take a break and discuss art, shall we?
me pop this up so that it can be visualized as you're talking.
Oh no.
Holy shit, just the fucking title of this.
Yeah.
It gets worse the more you read.
Oh no.
Yeah, I found this scrolling Twitter, like one of the accounts.
And people are offended the term groomers propping up. And it's like, you look at this shit.
And one of
So,
the accounts that I
Camel-
followed posted just a screenshot. I had to go and find it by the author's name. If you're gonna post a
So-
screenshot, post a link too. Don't be rude. Yes, Sanguine?
Pop that up, and then I will leave it to you as I quickly go to piss like a racehorse.
At least that
I'm
was
not going to be so
settled.
kind.
Cat had to go do some business.
Well, for those of you that aren't
In
sitting in front of a screen looking right
Craft
now,
chat or anything like that.
this is from the New York Post from, well, I guess today, yeah. Art teacher fired. Let students pose topless, simulate masturbation on camera.
Mm.
Emma Wright, 41. Sweetheart, you're in your 40s. You shouldn't have pink hair anymore.
Holy shit, she's 41?
Yeah, she's in shape. Like, I
Good
have to say.
God.
Has been fired from her job and barred from teaching for 2 years following an investigation into the photo shoot. A high school teacher has been fired from her job after she let female students take topless photos for an art project. Emma Wright, 41, was working as an art teacher at Huxlow Science College in Northamptonshire, England, back in 2017 when the classroom photo shoot took place. So this is a story posted today about something that happened 5 years ago.
Oh, and by the way, in the article it said she was only barred for 2 years from teaching in school. So if this was about 5 years ago, she's probably teaching right now.
She should be in jail.
In some of the photos, the pupils reportedly used bottles of alcohol and their hands to cover their breasts. In other images, the girls allegedly made offensive gestures while smoking and wearing their school uniforms. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a paragraph here. According to The Sun, Wright let girls as young as 15 take partially naked photos of themselves and other female students. The Sun claims that one shocking snap even saw one of the girls posing with their hand inside their underwear or in a pose which simulated masturbation. This is what kids are learning in fucking art class. Yeah.
That's like a walking poster board for why you get rid of, like, arts in school. Like, stop being the example that makes
This is how you pose for the Playboy centerfold. Wright blasted her termination as an injustice, telling The Sun, "I am a good person. I am not the person they're making me out to be. Well, they're making you out to be the kind of person that lets kids take, half-naked photos of themselves for a grade." She added that the teaching regulation agency...
It wasn't just half naked. They were posing with, it said liquor bottles and also
alcohol,
yeah,
liquor bottles.
And like their hands literally down their pants, like in underpants, like.
And I'm assuming with the they said offensive gestures. I'm assuming like flipping the bird and stuff. She added that the teaching regulation agency, which removed her from the teaching register for 2 years, have not got an understanding of art and education. Wright was first reported to the TRA after her school's head of design discovered one student's art portfolio containing the potentially problematic pictures. An investigation by the agency found that Wright had a good history teaching at Huxlow Science College, where she had been employed since 2004.
So
However,
there's
they
one thing that pisses me off even more about this.
It's the pink hair, isn't it? It's driving me crazy, too.
No, the pink hair is not the part that's pissing me off the most about this. The part that's pissing me off the most about this is Huxley Science College.
Huxlow.
Sorry, Huxlow Science College art class.
Yeah, that's probably why they were just like, fuck it, let's just take our clothes off. They had no, there's a bunch of science nerds. They had no understanding or appreciation of art.
you shouldn't have a art class in a science college like this. The one exception that I would somewhat allow, and even then it would be fairly begrudging, is have any of you seen the biological illustrations?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What was the question? I
Yeah.
got distracted by Assassin saying I can't read. I do better than
Whoa.
Johnny. Thank you very much.
He's reading better than Sinatra, Johnny, and several others, including Monkey. Monkey goes fucking, or Monkey and Sinatra go fucking illiterate the second the words are put in front of their face.
Anyway, what's the question?
But have you ever seen biological illustrations?
Well, yeah, I've taken biology classes. Yeah.
There's a very particular sort of art that's required for that. And if it was that art, I would then be going, okay, I can kind of understand this. But anything shy of that, fuck you. No, that doesn't. And even that shouldn't be considered part of the biology course. It should be considered its own specialized version of art, but it shouldn't be the science college doing like atomical art drawings. But I'll pull up an example of anatomy art after you finish this. It's just that, what the fuck?
Well, scrolling down further, she is not teaching at another school, Gabby, because, quote, I feel there is a deep injustice about this, but I am not going to appeal because I no longer wish to teach.
And if this was about 5 years ago, I'm sure she changed her mind when her bank account was running low and her time ran up.
Or she went to work for Penthouse Forum, one of the two. You don't know.
No, because then she'd be talking about fucking women rather than just getting teens to masturbate.
They have pictures in those books too, Sanguine. They might need a photographer.
Yeah, but she's a traditional artist, not just a photography, I don't think.
She told the Sun that she is now employed at a nursing home. Written
great.
by local MP.
Oh my god, like, it wasn't... Went from schools and right to nursing homes. Like, the tale of abuse continues, at least.
I have written to my local MP, the union, and the education minister regarding this. I feel very strongly about it. I'm really quite upset about it. It is a position I never thought I would be in, she added. Wright told the publication that she had no ill will toward the students, describing them as wonderful. I am hoping the local community are as shocked as I am, and as sad and angry, she stated.
Why
they know me.
More statements about the, sorry, I hate to interrupt. Just why aren't there any statements from the said community about this? She hopes they were like outraged that she was fired. Could they not find anyone in the community who wants to make a comment?
And to quickly respond to Cannibalistic Wizard, well, there is Grannies Need Loving and Grannies Need Loving too.
You take one for the team, buddy. That's all you.
That's not me at fucking all. God damn, no. But, Camel?
Yes.
There was a question that Gabby asked right before that.
Who had a question?
What was the question?
It was about the community. She hoped the community was outraged at her termination. So why is there no comment from the community in that article? That is.
I'm guessing they probably didn't want their daughters getting half naked and taking pictures of themselves at the age of 15.
Yeah.
That's just such a fluff article. Like, they were doing.
So I mentioned I mentioned biological drawing and anatomy drawings. And that being the one form of art that I could kind of understand in a science college, but I still wouldn't group it under a science college. This is a beautiful fucking example. of anatomy drawing. This one, of course, from the source of most free use images, Getty Images. But this is an anatomy drawing, and that is all hand drawn. That is the heart hand drawn. All the different striations and methods of shading in order to demonstrate. And it's a very striking art style that is also insanely educational. So biological drawing is almost crucial for biology education. And just good fucking God, the level of detail in this work. That is the only sort of art that I would even tentatively agree. Okay, yeah, science college should be doing that. No, these are my college students fucking masturbating.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I've seen quite a lot of videos on the internet with that particular premise, Sanguine.
Oh, yeah, that particular premise absolutely does gangbusters on the internet. But I would not consider that an appropriate field of study for a science college. You don't really need to go to college in order to figure out, yeah, guys like young women.
Apparently 40-year-old women like young women, too.
That, like, 18 to 20-something range, optimal for guys going, yeah, that's attractive. Or pretty much fucking anyone going, yeah, that's fucking attractive. I've said before, tits are the one thing that kind of unifies the world. Lesbians think tits are great. Guys think tits are great. Gay guys even say, yeah, tits are kind of nice.
Even straight
tits
women
are the
can
tits.
appreciate it. Yeah, tits are the tits.
Yeah,
as long as
It's
you got
a matter of aesthetics. You don't have to be like sexually drawn to it. If it looks good, it looks good.
Yeah, exactly. And they're one of the few body parts that's that way. Because gay guys on women's asses, it's kind of hit or miss. Straight guys on or men's asses, pretty much entirely miss. Tits, everyone agrees. Tits are nice. Yes,
They're
Twitter
nature's
hates.
pillows.
Yes.
Twitter hates.
Tits are love. Tits are
Hold on.
life.
Twitter hates tits out of jealousy. It doesn't actually hate tits. It just is jealous that the tits are nicer than their tits.
Let me be clear. I'm Adam, Mr. Adam, and I endorse this statement.
Hi, Adam. I
I
knew you were
liked it.
running for office. I called it on a stream before, and I fucking knew it.
This is your favorite
Tits,
shop on the Citadel?
Boobs, boobas, knockers,
Although ass men are far more cultured.
however you
But
want to
tits
call
are
them.
still nice.
I support them. Like a strengthening bra. You can count on me, Mr. Adam, for your boobs.
That just made it sound like you're a plastic surgeon.
Who said chivalry's dead? Madam, that looks heavy. May I carry that for you? He points at her chest.
Exactly.
You know, I've made that offer before, and no one's ever taken me up on it.
Well, that's why I'm running, you know? Gotta raise awareness.
You care about the community. You love to see it.
I'm a giant dwarf, and
Elect Adam and
D&D knows dwarves don't suffer encumbrance penalty.
elect Adam, and your boobs will never go unsupported again.
Count on me. Disappointing.
Your interests are my interests. Boobs.
I'm not even asking for a donation. I'm just
He's
asking.
just trying to do his part to alleviate back pain in the community.
Trying my
Physical
best.
health like that's a big plus in politics, man.
Hold on, but let's be real. Only in my district, so I only have enough handfuls for support.
You have 2 handfuls, but then there's a lot of people in various other regions that are willing to donate their time and hands. And like I said, giant dwarves don't suffer encumbrance, so bear that in mind.
Especially as we're going into this summertime, you know. These are kind of dire straits
They're going to be sweaty.
Yeah. They need all the support they can get.
Wonder Bras can lift and separate, but not as much as a pair of hands.
Well, not deep hands.
Shall we keep the ADD train rolling, Sanguine?
Absolutely, that's the fucking theme of my show. It's whatever the fuck we decide to talk about at any given time.
Wherever the
Every
ball
show.
rolls. It's mostly downhill, but whatever the ball takes us.
Well, I follow that account. Now this news,
Mm-hmm.
and for the most part, it's just a bunch of commie bullshit. But occasionally they have stories that are cute or interesting. And this one is Colombian authorities seized 2,800 pounds of cocaine disguised as potatoes before they were shipped to
It comes
Spain.
from fucking Ireland?
Well, I think what tipped them off is like every single one of these potatoes is roughly the size of an 8-ball. So,
Ah,
Holy shit. Oh,
that might have done it. That and the anonymous caller who tipped them off. See, that's a narc, Adam. I'm not that. I won't tell the cops about your cocaine-filled potatoes, sir.
it's rather clever, all the different things that they've tried to hide cocaine in.
Yeah, but I mean, this is why you got to get some russets or like Idaho Gold or something. Some big potatoes. You can move some weight. These things are tiny.
Russet, it's not Idaho Gold. Idaho Gold are like half the size of an average russet.
I wasn't joking when I said these things are about the size of an 8-ball. These are tiny.
nope.
Just because they decided to go for fingerlings.
That's the kind of potato you get at like medieval times. It's a small potato.
Ah. Well, I mean, you don't want to get too full on potatoes when you got like a turkey leg coming.
Oh.
The turkey legs are amazing. I think everyone
That
can
makes
agree on
sense.
that.
Hold on. that
Yeah, man.
makes
You
sense.
don't get loaded down with all those carbs when you're about to
So I have a fucking random question, just because Adam started talking about medieval times. How many of you have been to medieval times, and how many times have you been to medieval times?
I have
Me?
never been to medieval times. I
What?
keep telling myself that I'm going to go to like the Ren Fair one of these days in Muskogee, and every year it seems like something happens where can't make it. So
How many times have you been to medieval times, sir?
2 or 3. It's fun.
Wait, how many
enjoy it.
times?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. Oh yeah. No, yeah, but I mean, it's literally like it's like 15 minutes away from my place. So I've been there quite a few times.
The food's
Only
pretty fucking good.
Well, only because I've known people who work there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of times where, like, look, I can tell you stories where, oh, hey, we're going out to the bar for the weekend. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, shit, the fucking medieval time maidens are coming to the bar.
Fuck some wenches.
Yeah. and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they're not it's not the best.
They're just a wench as a day job, not as a lifestyle. Yes.
But you know what? They were enjoying the night. God bless them. But it was one of those things where it was like, oh shit, yeah. They occupied a couple of tables and ordered a lot of food, and karaoke night was always spectacular. So, but no, yeah,
That's something that I really need to find in my area. I need to find a good karaoke.
oh, dude, yeah, no, karaoke. The bar that, because it's a weird thing, because the bar that they would go to was also a bar that a local, like a sports club, would go to, where it was like they played soccer and floor hockey, and so the two would mix, and it was an odd mix,
See, the biggest problem that I had of where I used to live, because as probably everyone knows by now, I lived in Northern Virginia for a while, and the best karaoke bar in Northern Virginia was also the gay bar.
See, I used to go gay bars because drinks bought for me,
They had decent drinks, they had really good food, and they had karaoke. Also, my best friend was a functional puff. And
hey, sometimes the gay bar is the
functional
only
what?
place you can find the entertainment.
Poof.
a functional puff. So for anyone that hasn't heard the phrase functional puff before, my best friend is bisexual, but all of his serious relationships have been with men, ergo functional puff. Puff being a term for gay man.
Oh,
So yeah, due to that, and due to
hold on. Is it a poof, like expelling a smoke cloud, or is it a puff, like taking a puff of this?
Poof.
it's a poof.
A puff?
So POOF.
Oof.
POF. A puff.
Off. What about an off? Is off a thing, or can you do not enough? Is an off? Is no, it's enough.
Well, many puffs can't get enough. But yeah, my best friend's functional puff. So he would typically go to the gay bar for his birthday, and being best friend, of course, I would end up going to the gay bar with my best friend during his birthday. He would get hit on while I would just be going, yeah, the fucking drinks are great, let me sing a song, fuck it. And occasionally get a drink from someone that thought I was gay, and I'd have to have that awkward conversation of, no, I'm just here because my best friend is functionally a puff.
Yeah. I had the same experience too.
Yeah. All I can say is that large black women and gay men are a massive ego boost.
Right.
For those who aren't familiar, so the women of the viewing and in the chat potentially are guys don't get compliments very often.
No.
Gay guys and fat black women massively give compliments. I don't know what it is about those two categories, but they will come up to you out of the fucking blue and give compliments.
And it's a wonderful feeling.
Oh yeah,
to get
you
those
remember,
compliments.
as a guy, you remember almost every fucking compliment that you've ever received. I still remember fat black woman in high school just stopping mid-sentence and going, you have really pretty eyes.
Aww.
And I remember just walking about 2 years after graduating college, walking down the street, going to a ramen bar in Northern Virginia. And again, it was just a large black woman stopped me and said, "You're really attractive." And I went, "Thank you. I don't know how to react." And continued to the ramen bar.
Ask for numbers, you know.
The sentiment is appreciated. No, that is true. That shit is so just random compliments out of nowhere just really can make someone's day.
Oh yeah.
Especially men. Like they don't get it as often as they should.
I don't understand why that's such a like a oh my god, why dude, everybody likes to be complimented or
Well, it's a feminist.
Oh yeah, but the thing is that I think the majority of men, at least I'm speaking from experience, there's functionally two groups that will compliment me, and they're the two groups that I already mentioned. Gay men. I've had so many fucking gay men try to hit on me and compliment me and shit like that, and every time I'm going, that's very flattering, but I'm not gay. I'm not even bi. I have absolutely no interest in dick. I am strictly non-dickly in who I'm dicking down.
oh.
And most of the gay men go, fair enough, just wanted you to know. And I would thank them for their time and thank you for the compliment. And like I said, something about fat black women. I don't know why fat black women have the most confidence of any sort of woman, but fat black women don't give a fuck.
I'm here for it. I love that.
And they will
go, girls.
They will just compliment whoever the fuck they please at whatever goddamn point that they want. Whereas, as far as I've noticed, the vast majority of women don't really give compliments to strangers. They'll give compliments to their partners. But
I'll give compliments to strangers. Like if I like their outfit, if I like someone's like beard or like,
then you, ma'am, are a rarity. The closest that I've come to that is at various gatherings. I've had people. It normally starts with a flamboyantly gay man seeing my beard and going, "Your beard is glorious, may I stroke it?" And I go, "Sure, why the fuck not?"
We're talking about the beard, right?
Yeah. I have a full-blown, damn near dwarven/wizard beard that goes like a solid 2 inches below my nipples.
Well, it makes sense for a giant dwarf, so.
Yeah.
Question, Sanguine. Those gay guys come to you want to stroke your beard. How many times have they tried to stick a finger in your mouth?
They have never done that, thankfully. But I've had a lot of people come up, "Your beard looks glorious." And like I said, normally starts with a gay guy. "Your beard looks glorious. May I pet it?" "Yes, you may pet my beard." And then I'll have like a line of people all forming up. "May I pet your beard?" "Sure, why the fuck not? You can stroke my face. I don't give a fuck." And I'll just have people petting my beard for an extended period of time.
See, I've had some women come up to me asking to like, touch my hair because I've got it down to about middle of the shoulder, a little lower,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always kind of weird because it's just some random ass woman walk up. "Can I touch your hair?" It's like, "Oh, so you're the one all the black bitches been complaining about?" Okay.
Huh?
Jackson's.
Like I said, I have like at least probably a foot-long beard hanging off my chin. So I get people every now and then, "Can I pet your beard?" And normally it starts with a gay man or just a bi man, but normally it's a very, very flamboyantly gay man. And then I'll just have a line of people form up randomly once they notice one person's allowed to pet my beard. Will I be allowed to pet his beard? because I have this fantastically soft beard, I've never gotten the prickly. A lot of people get the prickly point of the beard. My beard never goes prickly. My beard is always just ridiculously soft and fluffy feeling.
Well, I keep mine soft by washing it, you know.
And I heard Useless say that his is that way when washing it.
Yeah.
And then I heard Camel say something, but I couldn't make out what you said.
I said, must be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've never really felt a beard that's been overly, like, soft. Like, they've been, like, okay.
At some point, if we ever meet, you'll want to pet my face then.
Like, as annoying as the hair can be sometimes, like, especially now that it's summertime, getting hot, the beard always bugs me more. I can't go more than, I think the longest I went was like 6 months. And then it's like, no, I gotta shave this shit off. It's, it's itchy.
I look weird.
This is my third long beard. I had one long beard early on in like college that ended up needing to get shaved because I got a job as an EMT, and that particular EMT job went, nope, you need to have a mustache and maybe a goatee, but it can't be anything more than that, so I had to shave for that. And when I shave, I have the most fucking neotenous face in existence. So when I have a beard, I look plus or minus my age. When I go clean shaven, I look like the freakiest giant 8-year-old in existence.
So you got baby face too, huh?
Ridiculous goddamn baby face. Just completely neotenous. Doesn't make sense with the sheer size of me. I look like a giant infant when I'm clean shaven.
I noticed something like when I had the beard, like I only got like carded once, and I was cool with it. I was like, oh well, thank you, Like the next time I went to go buy something after I shaved the beard, like cause I went ahead and kept like I guess what most people consider a goatee. And they carded
a goatee at all.
Huh?
I can't imagine you in a goatee at all.
Well, I went ahead and kept some, facial hair because I didn't want to go completely clean shaven. And I got carded, and I was like, "You fucking kidding me?" All right, here. The only thing that changed really was like my feelings about it.
So I've had a very weird history of getting carded because I got assumed to be not worth carding when I was younger at a rather shocking degree. When I was like 18, I didn't actually purchase alcohol, but there are several times where people assumed that I was well north of 21 because, again, that was the first long beard that I had.
That's why I carded everybody when I was working a convenience store or whatever. I had one night where a guy came in, tried to buy like a case of beer and some snuff and everything. And I don't know why, but I was like, man, I gotta go ahead and see your ID. And he goes ahead and shows me his ID. He's like 19. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, all right, you can have the snuff, but you can't have the beer.
That just reminds me of... I've told you guys that I'm the progeny of 2 Marines before, right?
Yeah.
So, one of my mum's Marines was given the moniker Uncle Nasty, which he fucking loved to a ridiculous degree. So
that sounds like he's on a registry somewhere.
It sounds like it, but the dude wasn't. He was just... He loved fucking with people. So when he was given the nickname Uncle Nasty, there was one of the Marines in my mom's unit ended up getting married shortly after getting out of Iraq, and Uncle Nasty was invited to the wedding, and he just came with a pocket full of candy to fuck with people, and gave children candy, saying, "Let your parents know Uncle Nasty gave you the candy."
Ew.
Just to fuck with the parents and make the parents go, "What the fuck? God damn it!" But
I
one
would
of
have
the things-
several questions. To be fair, that strategy must have worked.
Well,
he just loved fucking with people. He was one of those people that would do constant jokes on others. And since he was given the nickname Uncle Nasty, or the call sign Uncle Nasty, he just decided, fuck it, I'm going whole hog into Uncle Nasty territory. So one of the things that he did was at a Marine Corps Ball. You guys know what the Marine Corps Ball is, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it's the birthday for the Marines. They hold a ball.
Exactly. So at the Marine Corps Ball, both my parents being Marines, of course, they are allowed to invite other people to the Marine Corps Ball in order to avoid having to deal with leaving son at home for random reasons. They would occasionally go, "Hey, Sanguine, want to come to the Marine Corps Ball? Find a date. You come to the Marine Corps Ball? Good shit." So I'd go to the Marine Corps Ball, and one of the Marine Corps Balls, Uncle Nasty, came over to me and went, "Hey, you've probably heard about me." And I went, "Uncle Nasty?" And he went, "Yep, I'm Uncle Nasty. I'm just going to stand here for a moment to fuck with your mother, because she's going to notice at some point that I'm standing and talking to you." We started chatting shit. He went to the front of the line with me. We ordered drinks. I went back, and my mom was like, "Why was Uncle Nasty standing next to you? Did Uncle Nasty buy you an alcohol? What the fuck was Uncle Nasty?"
Well, no, like the reason why I went ahead and carded that guy was because earlier in the night, a woman came into the store and she was buying beer and some cigarettes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at her, I was like, yeah, she can't be more than 20 tops. You know, good looking chick, right? And get her ID. I look at it, it's like, bitch is 32. Okay. Here you go, ma'am. Good on you. Have a nice night. Yeah, that dude came in. He looked like he'd just climbed down off a fucking mountain, you know, Grizzly Adams style. It's like, this guy's got to be, you know, mid 30s, early 40s. No, 19.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here, kid.
I knew some kid in high school, some guy, he was already starting to bald, and he wasn't even a legal adult yet.
Oh, I knew one guy in school. He was a grade ahead of me. He had a full beard before he had a learner's permit.
Nice.
Daniel, do you know what age I need to start shaving?
Probably something ridiculously
When hair is
young.
growing, that's when you shave.
Most people, I think it's 11 or something. 11 to 12 is when they start,
yeah,
and
around
13 is
12.
when they really. 12 to 13 is when they really start shaving. I was shaving at like 10.
Well, I just started
I was
growing a beard
having
until
to
like,
daily shave at like 10.
or for me, I'm the opposite. I started growing a beard until like 30. So
Kids are joking about you dropping your car keys as you're rounding third playing kickball at recess.
yeah.
Functionally, yeah. I had like a good 8-inch long beard when I was a senior in high school.
Nice.
And by the time that I was a senior in college, that shit was like a good 14, 16 inches long. Just trimming it to make sure I got rid of splits. Then I had to shave it entirely when I got that one EMS job, and then I started regrowing it again, and then I had to shave it almost entirely when I got the corrections job. So I've just been growing it since corrections, and I'm already at like a foot plus.
Do you have to wear a beard net in your lab?
In the lab, they don't give a shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Especially
I can't.
since a good chunk of the time I either have a beard bead in or I have it braided.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't go more than like 6 months before I have to shave because it's just, like I said, it's itchy. It's especially when it starts like getting in the way of like eating and drinking. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, my mustache says that sometimes. I actually eat my mustache. So.
And goddamn it, Terry. But yeah, I occasionally have to go through and trim my mustache. Normally I just wax and pull it off to the side rather than dealing with that. Because if it goes particularly walrus, it does just go straight into the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
I
Why
can
should
imagine how annoying that would be.
It kind of is.
No, like I said, the easiest way to deal with it, rather than having to shave it every time it gets long enough to do that, is just wax it and pull it out.
Yeah.
So if you drink hot tea, it just fucking collapses.
Well, the thing about long hair is I usually look better in long hair, but I hate taking care of it.
And I heard Adam say wax it, as if that was a strange
No, you
idea.
didn't.
It's like, I fucking heard you. So have you never had to wax a mustache?
I did it once or twice.
I've had a bud who has done both waxing and something that they do where it's like they take a string and they pull it.
Oh, are
the
they
hair out or
threading
something?
their mustache as well?
Well, no, they did their eyebrows. I think it was. Yeah, I don't know, man. Hair grooming is odd to me.
I've never been metrosexual enough to groom my eyebrows. My eyebrows just go fucking wild as far as I'm concerned.
Dude.
I mean, unless they're bananas, you really shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
Or a unibrow.
That's what I've considered. And considering that I've been, again, fat black women and gay men have complimented my eyebrows and eyelashes, so I've just gone, fuck it, I'm going to let them go. I don't need to do shit with them.
Right there. I mean, don't fix what ain't broke.
Yeah. But I've had to wax my mustache. And I've waxed my mustache at your place, goddamn Adam.
Wait, what?
At the night.
Yeah. When I was over at your place for the 4th of July, I waxed my beard and I waxed my mustache.
Oh, like applying wax on your.
Yeah, I had my beard oil and beard wax in my bag for that trip.
Oh yeah, well that's different from somebody applying wax and then fucking peeling it off with all the.
Oh, you're saying waxing rather than just wax.
Yeah.
Yeah, waxing's an entirely different matter. That's when someone wants to be completely fucking hairless.
But
like a hairless goddamn chihuahua.
Doesn't that like remove the hair and keep a length of hairlessness? I guess I don't know. I don't know.
There's a difference between waxing and or when you wax your mustache or wax your beard versus waxing the hair. So waxing the hair is when you melt wax, you apply it to the face, you let it cool just enough to partially solidify and grab onto any hair that's there. And then you fucking rip that shit off. Versus a mustache wax and a beard wax. So mustache wax is just meant to make the mustache more malleable and posable. And beard wax is meant to do the same. It hydrates the beard and keeps it true to whatever form you want to form it into.
Now,
And
the
you
real
have
question
high
is,
wax
Sanguine.
beard waxes and you have low wax beard waxes.
The real question, Sanguine, is: do you prefer Fop or are you a Dapper Dan man?
Yeah, you Dapper Dan man.
See, the beard wax that I'll go for is actually the what's the brand? I'll be right back. I'm going to quickly check the brand. That way I can recommend the specific beard wax that I'm fond of.
What is that's pomade, right?
Yeah. Specifically, their pomades from Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Something like
I don't want
Dapper
Fop.
Dan.
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Dapper Dan is the Oh Brother Where Art Thou, which is a fantastic rendition of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not the Odyssey.
No, it is the Odyssey.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, there's that framework, but when the Coen brothers were writing it, they weren't thinking of the Odyssey.
Well, they hit it beat for beat because they hit the Cyclops,
Yeah.
Polymetheus. They hit the
Sirens.
Sirens with the she turned him into a frog. They
Toad, yes.
hit every note of the Odyssey perfectly.
Yeah,
when it
but
comes to Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
they weren't thinking about the Odyssey when they were writing the script. They were, I guess they were thinking more like Wizard of Oz.
What was it? The
But yeah, it
costume
was funny
How
because
did they hit it so perfectly when they were thinking of the Wizard of Oz? The Wizard of Oz doesn't have fucking sirens. The Wizard of Oz doesn't have a fucking Cyclops.
well, they was it what's his name? Delmer. Shit, I can't think of his name. The actor that played Delmer, he's from Tim Blake Nelson. He's from Tulsa originally, and he actually studied classics.
Yeah.
And so when they sent him the script, he thought they were just like looking for notes on like the Odyssey and stuff. They're like, huh? No, we wanted you to be one of the actors in it.
Yeah, like I said, it's the Odyssey through and through because they have Polymetheus, the Cyclops.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that was not their intention when they wrote it. They just kind of fell into it.
And I'm just baffled how they fall into it because they hit it beat for fucking beat in the right order. It would be one thing if they had had the sirens before Polymetheus, but they don't have the sirens before Polymetheus. For everyone that doesn't know, Polymetheus is the Cyclops that Odysseus blinds.
You was a toad.
Yeah, it's Polymetheus is the Cyclops that Odysseus blinds, which is a Poseidian Cyclops rather than a Chronosian. Oh no, it's not Chronos. It's what's the?
Oh, Kronos.
Why am I blanking on the Grecian term for Uranus? Because it was a Uranian Cyclopses that were the original Cyclopses, and then it was the Poseidian, which would be the Neptunian in the Roman. And I don't know why I'm blanking on the term for the Grecian version. Because Uranian is, of course, the Roman version. Most of the Roman deities and titans became planets. So you had Uranus was named after Uranus, the Roman titan, which was the forefather of Kronos. And then it was Kronos that ended up castrating Uranus and casting his penis into the ocean, which ended up siring Venus, though the Grecian version was Aphrodite. And Adam, do you know the deity that I'm trying to remember? I don't know why I'm blanking on Uranus as the Grecian Titan rather than Uranus as the Roman Titan, because it's one of the pantheons that I have completely memorized. For some reason, it's just fucking blanking.
I'm not sure, man.
Like I said, Adam's probably the best bet because Adam also has that ancient obsession that I have.
He's muted right now, though, so.
He's muted. That would explain the issue. So Uranus, which one was Uranus in the... Or was that one of the weird ones where it was Uranus in Greek and then Cephalus? Was it Cephalus in Roman?
I was gonna say because, like, according to the Greeks, it's conceived of Gaia, and they formed the
It was
primordial
Cephalus
couple.
in Roman, wasn't it? That's the reason why I was blind. So it is Uranus in the Grecian, and Uranus is one of the few Grecian planets rather than Cephalus, which was the Roman equivalent of Uranus in the Roman pantheon.
I was always better with the Greek than I was the Roman.
So you remember Uranus as well?
Well, when you mentioned it, I was like, that, I was confused about the Roman aspect of it. I was like, I could have swore that was Greek. And so I went ahead and typed it in, in Uranus and mythology, and it brought up, Grecian right away.
Okay, so it was the Grecian, and it's Cephalus. Because it took me a while, but I remembered Cephalus was the other version. So it was Uranus was the Grecian, Cephalus was the Roman, but despite that, we remember the planet as Uranus rather than Cephalus. So it's the Uranium Titans, not the element uranium, but the Titans, the Cyclops. The Uranium Cyclopses that were the descendants of Uranus before there's a later generation of Cyclopses that were the Poseidian Cyclopses that were the descendants of Poseidon, of course. And Polymetheus was a Poseidian Cyclops rather than the Uranium Cyclops, because the Uranium Cyclopses were banished to one of the realms of Hades. I don't think it was Tartarus. I think that it wasn't Elysium, because that was a Roman name for the beneficial realm of Hades. But it was the beneficial realm of Hades, as well as the Hetatoncheires. But the Poseidian Cyclops, Polymetheus was blinded by Odysseus. And in the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, they have the Polymethean stand-in, as well as they have the Siren stand-in, as well as they have all of the other stand-ins. So how the fuck was it not meant to be the Odyssey? That's baffling that it was not meant to be the Odyssey, but it was meant to be something other than the Odyssey. Because they met it beat for beat. They had Polymetheus before they had the Sirens, before they had fucking what's the witch's name that I'm blanking on for some fucking reason? The witch that turned everyone into pigs. Look it up. Well,
wasn't the old guy at the beginning who was on the railway doing
on the push cart?
Yeah, on the push cart. Wasn't he supposed to be somebody too?
Wasn't he more like a chorus?
And
he was telling
hold
them
on,
like what they were gonna go.
I'm only muting because I'm enjoying a nice slice of pizza. because I was playing Turtles. Oh shit! Sorry. Please continue.
I'm quickly looking up the Cersei. And I didn't need to look it up because I remembered it before I finished fucking typing the phrase that I was going to look it up. It was Cersei that turned the crew of Odysseus into pigs. They had the Polymetheus stand-in. They had the fucking stand-in for the Sirens. They had the stand-in for Cersei. They had the stand-ins for each of the opponents that Odysseus met, with the exception of, I don't think they had a stand-in for the twin challenges.
Yeah, I don't think he had he had to strung a bow or anything like that, but
Well, the twins challenges that I was referring to was the
well, hold on, maybe that was the song that he had to do.
The song would be the equivalent of the stringing the bow. Absolutely, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the two that he didn't have a direct stand-in for were the Whirlpool and the Mock Hydra, not the actual Hydra, which was... Why am I blanking on those?
Wouldn't the Whirlpool be when they flood the valley in the movie?
If you were really, really generous, then you could consider that the Whirlpool of the story, but it wasn't as direct of a reference of Charybdis as it could have been, whereas everything else was almost exact. The Sirens and Cersei were the women singing as well as the women turning people into animals, because the Sirens attracted people with their song, and Cersei turned people into pigs. Then it was Scylla and Charybdis were the two that I was trying to remember. The many-headed Hydra-esque being was Scylla, right? Adam, you're familiar with Grecian mythology and Roman and Grecian history. Was it Scylla was the Hydra-like being, and then Charybdis was the Whirlpool? Am I remembering that right?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
So, Scylla was a Hydra-like being that bit at the crew of Odysseus, which, just due to the fact that I had an instructor that had the... I will endlessly attest to that it is the incorrect pronunciation of Odysseus, but since I know that some people may pronounce it such, Odysseus, which is pain for me to even say.
I remember you talking about that, because I told you about my freshman English teacher who couldn't pronounce Nike properly.
Yeah, and they pronounce
How did they pronounce it?
Nike.
No.
I was like, have you not seen a commercial in the last 20 years? Like, never heard of Michael Jordan? Nothing?
Yeah, they pronounced it Nike when it was supposed to be Nike. And that was when you were learning about the Battle of Marathon, right? And you were told that the runner had shouted one word and one word only, which, for those who don't know, the Battle of Marathon was a battle between the Persians and the Grecians, and it was an Athenian victory, where the Athenians had won the battle, but it was a somewhat Pyrrhic victory in their success. So they sent a runner to Athens to let Athens know that they had actually won the battle rather than the Persian fleet arriving first and informing the Athenians that they had lost the battle and therefore should surrender. So the runner, this is the origin of the word marathon, and the 26.3 miles for a marathon?
2, I think.
2? Okay.
26.2.
26.2. The reason why a marathon is 26.2 is due to the Battle of Marathon, which was 26.2 miles away from Athens. So after the Battle of Marathon, they sent their fastest runner to Athens, and he ran into the city and he shouted one word and one word only before he dropped dead. And that one word that he shouted was Nike. Because Nike was the god of victory.
I now know that.
Yeah, he charged into the city center, shouted Nike, dropped fucking dead. And that was enough to inform the Athenians that the army had won the Battle of Marathon. So they refused to surrender when the Persian fleet said that their force had lost the Battle of Marathon, so they were without a standing army. And the Persian fleet was threatening to barricade and then land an assault for Athens, whereas since the Athenian army had won the Battle of Marathon, that meant that the Athenian army was following on the heels of that runner. So in the attempt to barricade and then land an assault, they would be massively outnumbered by the Athenian army.
Now let's talk about the word Nika.
Associated to Nike.
Nika. What? Oh, I'm sorry.
Associated with Nike, isn't not.
What?
Nika. Associated to the word Nike.
No, Nika. The Nika riots.
Oh yes, the Nika riots.
I don't know, guys, but I'm starting to fade. It's almost 1 a.m. for me. So.
Oh, shit. We did overshoot the time, didn't we?
Well,
As you always do.
hold on. You know what? I think
I get onto a ramble and I just keep on talking about shit.
sometimes
You guys know that you need to cut me off sometimes.
it just reminds me of that and then here comes Sanguine, and he has some historical tales to tell you.
See, the problem is I just have so many different fucking topics that I ended up rolling into as a spurg that was constantly told, can't you talk about anything else? That I just jumped to a different field to learn about. Because mythology, I have six different pantheons stuck in my head, which was the reason why the fact that Uranus was sticking so much was an issue, because I assumed that most of the planets were named after the Roman pantheon rather than the Grecian pantheon. So I was assuming Uranus was a Roman pantheon rather than Callias being the Roman versus Callias being the Grecian. And it turns out Callias was the Grecian, not the Roman. It was sticking in my head because I have 6 different pantheons completely stuck in my head. I have the entirety of the fucking Tuatha De Danann, the ancient Irish pantheon stuck in my head. The old Irish pantheon stuck in my head. I have the entirety of the Grecian pantheon, the entirety of the Roman pantheon. Which, do you guys know the only deity that does not appear in the Grecian pantheon that is present in the Roman pantheon?
Nope.
Adam, you might be the only one that might know this.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know the only deity that appears in the Roman pantheon, but not in the Grecian pantheon?
It doesn't come to mind at the moment.
So I'll steam through Camel. Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
Gabby, do you happen to know?
No idea.
So there is one deity that is uniquely Roman. Most of the Roman deities are absolutely stolen from the Grecian as well as the Egyptian pantheons. There is one deity that is uniquely Roman, and that is Janus. And because, again, Adam, I think that you might be the only one that knows who this deity is. Do you remember the aspect that Janus represented?
Wait. Okay, now that you say the name.
Janus.
Janus. Yeah. Time.
Close, but not quite. Janus was the god of crossroads.
Oh.
Of course.
He was the god of change. He was the god of thresholds, the god of crossroads. He was the uniquely Roman deity. There was no Grecian equivalent that he was just a copy and paste of, unlike Jupiter versus Zeus, unlike Pluto versus Hades, unlike Neptune versus
Poseidon.
fucking Poseidon.
Well, but is this a god that is a carryover before they took upon the Grecian pantheon, or is it something that they crafted after? You know what? Never mind. I don't. Perhaps we should talk about this at another date. I can't believe this is 3 hours. We've been.
He was a uniquely Latinate deity. He was the only uniquely Latinate deity. Every other deity was stolen from either the Grecian or the Egyptian pantheon. Janus was the only deity which was uniquely
I wouldn't say stolen. They were worshiping him. So I mean,
they were stolen or
adapted.
Let's see. Adapted. Yes, adapted would be another good phrase, because all of the other deities were adapted from some other religion. Janus was the only Roman deity that was truly Roman in origin, and he was the god of crossroads, of thresholds. And are you guys familiar with the association of thresholds and crossroads of choices? Yes, no, maybe?
Nope.
I think the resounding silence says negatory.
So Adam said yes. Camel, what about you?
I'm trying to fall asleep like Adam.
Wait, what? Hold on. Don't
Adam,
fucking use
Adam,
me as a
answer.
shield?
Answer, Adam.
No, I think you did. You not say yeah? You said it at the same
You
time
did.
as Useless and Gabby. So I thought that you said yeah because I thought I heard a yeah. And
No.
Yes,
No.
you did.
So before we go into the end of show, the reason why Romans associated crossroads with choices is at a standard crossroads, which is a T intersection.
I will say at the crossroads, I do not want to learn how to play the blues guitar.
But
yeah, there you go. Just copy that.
At the standard crossroads that you think of, which is the crossroads that was tacitly thought of when you were thinking of Janus, you were going down one road. So you had 4 different options at every intersection, because it was a classic crossroads, a lowercase t crossroads, a crossroads, where it was one road running, let's say, east-west, one road running north-south. You had the choice. Did you want to turn west, north, east, or south? So because of that, it was a choice. Every time that you reached a threshold, everyone knows that threshold means doorway, right? Or that one of the possible types of thresholds is a doorway. Every time that you reached a doorway, you had the choice: do you advance through that doorway, or you turn away from that doorway? So, due to that, Janus was the god of choice. He was the god of thresholds and intersections. He was the god of inflection points. He was a uniquely Roman god, where he was the god of points of decision, where every choice that you made at that decision point affected different things. And Janus was the god that you prayed to in order for wisdom at that point. Also, Janus was unique among the Roman gods because most of the Roman gods were distinctly human in their presentation. Have any of you heard the phrase a Janus head or Janus head?
No.
Gabby?
I remember seeing like a coin or something that was supposed to be representative of Janus in a textbook when I was
A
in
Janus
grade
head
school.
coin?
Yeah.
Did someone say my name? I could have sworn someone said
Gabby, did you ever hear the term a Janus head coin? Or a Janus head?
Never in my life. Nope.
Useless, have you ever heard the term a Janus head coin or a Janus head coin?
Mythology ain't my thing.
So, camel, you've heard the term. Do you remember what that meant when you heard a Janus head or a Janus head coin?
Wasn't it like two-faced?
Exactly. You got it in one, right on the fucking nose. A Janus head coin is a coin that has two faces because Janus, the god of crossroads, the god of choices, was a two-faced god.
Two-faced motherfucker. All right, I'm going to bed. Night, everybody.
And with that, yeah, we'll
Very nice.
sign off. So let's go around for parting thoughts because I just ranted about Roman and distinctly Roman gods for about a half hour.
Yeah.
So
I believe that's happened before. Not that it's not amusing. I wish I was more educated on the subject because I'm absorbing info and not like contributing because it's not my cup of tea.
it
See,
has
I was-
absolutely happened before that I've ranted about mythology for a half hour.
I literally pulled something from 5th grade out of like, about to pass out.
And you got it right when you pulled it from fifth
They
grade.
taught you this
So-
shit in 5th grade? The fuck out of here.
I wish I would have gone to your school.
It wasn't like
Yeah,
taught
it
in
was-
the curriculum. It was like I read it in a book in the library
Oh,
because
okay.
I liked mythology. I liked Greek mythology back then, and tried to get into the Roman stuff. Like, oh, so they just ripped everything off from the Greeks. Well, in that case, I'll just stick to the Greeks.
But they
Ripped
didn't
everything
teach you
off
about-
but Janus. Janus is the only distinctly Latinate deity.
The original rabbit hole before the internet was around.
Exactly. So, because we're about to sign off, I'll give Camel the first go since he was the one who was also the first to say that he was about to go.
Well, I'll leave you with the words of another Okie. Good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment.
Nice. Let's go to Adam as the next one. Continuing counterclockwise.
Oh, no, right. I always appreciative of you letting me join you on your
Always
Friday
fun.
show. And for both the panel and the chat, and anybody who watches later on, I love y'all and God bless. Take care.
Copy that. Let's go to Useless next.
You don't want to say have fun, because what's the point of living if you ain't having fun?
And penultimately, let's go to Gabby.
Oh, normally it's ladies first, but I'll take last as well. No, just stay safe, have fun, everybody. Not feeling too particularly like witty, but I wish you all farewell, adieu, good evening, and until next time.
I was really expecting farewell. Adieu,
Avita Zena.
saying goodbye.
No.
Goodbye, so long.
Avita
Zena.
Now I have a song stuck in my head and I blame everyone here. I blame you all.
You can absolutely blame me because that was the intention. Just like any time that I mentioned the coconut nut song.
Oh no!
You put the lime in the coconut.
Oh, that's a different song. But
No,
Adam was the only one that recognized the coconut.
No, I knew where you were going. I was trying to preempt it.
With a different earworm. Competing earworms, yes. And as I am the last, I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it, don't let it devour you. And on the off chance that Jacob Jet has made an appearance, that means Sonic fans. And with that, have a good night all. The zoo is closed.
Have fun.
Bye, everybody.
Later, taters.
Night.
And there we go. Good night before I have.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh no.
Shit.
Overtime.
fucking bounced.
Wait, hold on. I hope he stopped the stream.
No, it's
Oh,
still
still going.
going.
Oh.
Let it it goes and quickly cycles the website. Fucking fantastic. Okay.
I'm thinking of SAO Bridge, like, do you think he realized he muted himself? No, wait, give it a minute.
No, I got bopped out of it as my page reloaded right as I was clicking leave the studio. So did I get my entire parting words out before
Yes.
that happened?
We're still
Fantastic.
going.
In that case, have a good night all. The zoo is fucking closed.
Night.
Do. Again.
Welcome, my friends, to the stream that never ends.
Yeah.
Step inside, step inside.
Oh no, because it keeps
It is the
going
pain of
on.
my existence. Good fucking God. Okay, now,
Book is
seriously,
singing,
hopefully, unless it blinks out again, good night all.